Welcome to 9 Players Cast, the video game book club podcast. This week we're doing part 2 of Republic Commando. Today with me are...
The Stew.
Look, bro, actually just call me Gin Factor. I've evolved.
Welcome to Gin Factor.
Gin Factor.
We're changing our monkey ears. Whatever the fuck it's called.
Monikers, you uncultured swine.
Anyways, this is Lee Zarmir here.
Lee Zarmir. Lee Zarmir.
Lee the Zarmir.
Lee Zarmir.
Captain Zarmir.
So we got myself, Player 9.
Lee Epic Mimi.
Along with Stu, Gin Factor, and Zarmir. Or Martin, Lee, and Stu. However you decide to know us by name. This is part 2 of the Republic Commando podcast. So if you haven't watched part 1 yet, go back and watch that. But what we've done is we've carried on from part 1 where we talked about our first impressions, and now we've continued the game and played it through either finishing it or getting close to finishing it, and now we have our final verdicts, and we have a lot more to talk about regarding this game and our likes, our dislikes. And anyone who sent any feedback to player9show@gmail.com or left us comments on YouTube or anything else, we'll read those on the show and we'll go over all that as well because we want your feedback on this. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and step into it, but we want to get to our sponsor first. So anybody have any sponsor endorsement things, just kind of like last time?
Oh god, yes. This DQ ice cream is amazing.
I feel like this is a running gag where I say the endorsement, someone who endorses us, and then somebody mentions, I love this food.
This ice cream is amazing. I'm not going to even lie.
Does anyone realize that McDonald's does chocolate dips now for their cone?
They do?
That's
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about...
It's been there for like months, Aaron.
I know it has. I was the first one like the bitch. Oh my god! When it first happened, I wouldn't shut up about it. And you're like, "Okay, that's fine."
Anyway,
I believe that. Yes,
we're feeling it in already.
Yeah, Lee was like, "Enjoy your Dairy Queen. It's just a chocolate dip." I remember
reeling it in already twice. I'd like to go ahead and start talking about Republic Commando.
Don't you attack me about my chocolate dip cones.
We've had some conversations a little bit on the side about Republic Commando, and it seems like some of us have some very interesting, evolved opinions on the game after playing it further. So last time we got through and finished the Battle of Geonosis, the first of 3 major missions in the game, and everyone's initial feeling, Martin liked it, Stu liked it, I was kind of on the fence about it, and Lee severely disliked it. So those were kind of our first impressions. So we're going to kind of carry that forward now. We're going to talk about the gameplay and some of the elements that have come through over time and some of the things that we've seen. So I'd like to go ahead and start with Martin and just get his feedback on... So whoever wants to, go ahead and fill us in on... Just walk us through the straight-up plot of the remainder of the game, starting with the end of the Battle of Geonosis. What happened next to our heroes?
Okay, well, what happens is that it jumps around in their tour duty, like years at a time, where they go on specific missions that you get to experience. Right after the Geonosis battle, about a year later, they are called to recover an acclimated cruiser that suddenly reappeared after it disappeared, and you get to figure out what happened. And it turns out that they discover a new alliance between Trandoshans and the CIS, which disturbs them greatly. And then after you recover the cruiser and uncover their alliance, you go jump ahead another year, and then you go and help liberate Wookiees. I'm not sure why they liberate the Wookiees, but I think at the time it was like a good thing to do. Like it was like some sort of PR stunt and help the Wookiees and get them on our side so they can have another ally. And then towards the end of the game, you discover that you are some sort of like the whole Kashyyyk mission. The reason why they did it is because it was what's it called, like a beachhead. Like you were there to like disrupt and set up a beachhead for an actual invasion of the planet instead of just some sort of like clandestine what's it called, like rescue mission.
So it wasn't a rescue mission; it was a front.
Yeah, but they didn't know about it until the end.
Well, they're just clones. Doesn't matter.
They're not clones, damn it. They're specifically trained. They're different.
I think their training was only different because they used live fire, and they were mentored by a actual Mandalorian.
And they also had different implants, which they mentioned in the game.
Yeah, they're very different because instead of being thrown into basic training with the other clones, they were like you said, Stu. They were hand trained and from the very beginning.
And they also had different voice actors, which is a big clue that they were different.
Yeah.
It's like clones, different voices. What? Okay, so I want to jump into some of this gameplay. What was different from the first part of the game? What was new?
The bad guys. The things that you could do weren't different. It was just the bad guys that you fought up against. Their tactics and the way you approach them were different. So, like, you went up against droids, which are just dumb fodder, and they just kind of stand there. And then you have Trandoshans, which take a lot of hits. They are they're pretty sneaky, sis, and they have all sorts of different types of suppression abilities. And then the last mission kind of throws all three of them at you. And then the mini bosses with the guards.
One of the big things I noticed were their new guns, things that you're able to pick up. I mean, they had the laser in the first part of the game, and then now they add a lot more secondary weapons, which are kind of neat, but still kind of gimmicky. You still have your Swiss Army rifle throughout the game.
I never felt like the special pickup weapons were any of... They were
Shotgun.
situational. They were situational.
No,
Shotgun was pretty useful, but everything else was pretty situational, and I hardly found myself using them. Except for when I found out that I don't have any more ammo for anything else.
There's four different ones. There's the shotgun, there's the machine gun, there's the heavy machine gun, and then there's the Wookiee rocket launcher.
There's also the concussion rifle.
And the laser, Geonosian laser, but I don't think you get that.
Yeah, so there's 6. At least. Oh, and the submachine gun.
I enjoyed the rocket launcher, but that was because it was a rocket launcher.
I guess we jump right into kind of the elephant in the room in this one, and some of our gripes about the game. I know everyone has at least a couple gripes, and there are positives and negatives to this game, but I feel like after playing a little bit more, some things kind of emerged. What do you think about that, Lee?
You jumped to Lee because I got some issues.
Yes, I jumped to Lee.
I felt, just like at the beginning of the game, combat got a little bit too repetitive, especially near the end, especially that ending part. You have to go from turbo laser to turbo laser to escort your teammates there, and all it was you just fighting like maybe 4 or 5 Genosians, one of those spider droids, 2 droidicas, and one of General Grievous's guards, and that was the formula for that entire level.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, was it?
It was. And all I found myself doing was running out of ammo, running around in circles of that spider droid because it's the only way you can defeat that thing. The messing with General Grievous' guards that just basically did that little jump up spinning move, and the only thing I really had to worry for is that the fucking grenades that he drops out from his back, but that was also a waste of ammo focusing on him. The only ones I felt were any danger were the Genosians that came up and started slapping your shit with their spears. But other than that, it was just a bunch of bullet spraying and grinding, it felt like.
Did you know how to change your grenades?
Yes.
No.
Okay, because like all you had to do with those Geno Grievous guards was throw down the electricity grenade, and it would just fuck them up.
It's still a bullet soak, right?
No, it's not. 2 of those grenades will kill them.
The only reason
and the spider droids, you don't. And I don't understand why you would run around in a circle on the spider droids. You can kill the spider droids really quick, especially at the end of the game when you had the Wookiee rocket launcher and the Wookiee rocket launcher ammo is all over the room.
No,
you can kill those really fast.
Were you playing on easy? Because I wasn't.
I wasn't playing on easy either.
What were you playing on?
I was playing on medium because the hardest difficulty is pretty broken. Like the hardest difficulty is meant to punish you, just like any hard mode. You should have just stuck with normal. I went through easy on one part of the Kashyyyk mission because it was the part where you had to get past the bridge. I thought that part was like impossible even on medium. So on easy, I I just blew through it. I just fucking I didn't die once. It was crazy. Dude, I don't see where you're having these problems. It's
well, you don't have to though. That's not the really the point.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you didn't have problems. I'm just like, wow, why did he have these problems specifically?
Because it's a bad game, in my opinion.
So it's not a bad.
It's a bad game.
We're working towards that point.
Wow, it's not a bad game at all. It's one of those treasure games. Let's talk about it, Grips. I was spoiled by Call of Duty as much as I really hate to say it, because I hated how this game had a really good narrative to it while you were playing the game, and then it would just cut in the loading screens, and you felt like you had fast forwarded and missed something. The most glaring example to me was at the end of the game where Sev dies.
Yeah, spoiler.
It is a spoiler.
Yeah. No, so when not Sev dies, because you don't know if he dies or not, but he gets attacked, and then the guys debating whether or not they should go. It almost felt like they wanted it to be a choice, but it's we have to go, and then just cut loading screen, and then a play card that says, despite what they want to do, the Delta Squad has to put duty before brotherhood. And it was all, and then they leave him behind, and then it loads the prologue. I was like, man, they cut away really fast, and they do that a lot. They cut away, and it feels like they should have had a chance to add some sort of cinematic, and that was really jolting to me.
Yeah, it was kind of before they really streamlined.
No. So you don't get to talk about your bad stuff.
What?
No, Stu, go ahead. I'm just making fun of James.
It was like Stu was about to say, it was kind of before they started putting cinematics within the game, between games.
Yeah, heavily scripted, super,
Yeah, Call of Duty really started that trend.
Yeah.
No. Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 started that trend. And Half-Life 2 came out in 2004 around the same time.
Yeah, so like I said, Call of Duty started that trend.
Oh my god, I'm going to punch you.
It's just, I loved it at first, and then the second I got on, I forget the name of the ship, but the ship they were on, I just got so disconnected from the combat, trying to kill those stupid scavenger droids. It just glared at me so hard. How bad.
Let's talk about those goddamn scavenger droids.
It was the stupidest thing to have.
Just felt like a chore.
Them dive bomb you when they die. It was the stupidest thing.
I didn't even bother. I didn't even care about that. What I cared about was that they were
how they could kill you faster than those laser generations could.
Yes, they could. It was stupid. I must have died at least 10 times when they first appeared. Trying to deal with them.
And then you can't see them because it's dark, and then your gun just you got the shotgun reticle for a rifle, so you're trying to aim at this tiny thing flying around the room, and you got half the screen as your cursor.
This came out not too long after Aliens vs. Predator 2 with the facehuggers. I just felt like it was completely inspired by the facehuggers whenever the little droids jump onto your helmet and drilling into the mask.
Actually, I believe that was also inspired with what was it called? There was another game that did that. I want to say it was Halo.
It gave me a little bit of nostalgia for Alien vs. Predator.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, I felt like it.
Yeah, because it was kind of the same thing. Because you had the flood in Halo, but the flood in Halo was clearly from Aliens vs. Predator.
What was the one where oh, you know what? Okay, never mind. I'm mixing up my memories. There is one of the famous trailer Duke Nukem Forever had Duke ripping off an alien off of his face in that trailer, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed that. Never mind. I got it all mixed up.
Okay, so I liked there was some good things they did with these droids in the Acclimator mission, and that was the static thing. They were trying to use some really clear horror tactics to build up suspense, and it wasn't working, but I could see that they were trying.
It was like someone read, I don't know, the Death Troopers didn't come out then, but I feel like the guy who wrote Death Troopers was really inspired by the opening sequence of that level.
Maybe.
Do you guys know what Death Troopers is? It's about stormtroopers that are stranded on a derelict Star Destroyer, and they're all hunted down by a monster. It's called Death Troopers.
Sounds cool. Sounds like it was taken directly from this game.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I said. It sounds like it was directly inspired by that mission.
Oh God! All right, one gripe that I have is the setting up the traps, which was cool the first time you did it, but throughout the Acclimator mission, I felt like towards the end when you were trying to set up the battlefield for the droids to come in and attack you, it took forever. It wasn't rewarding, and it was just kind of dumb. As compared to how quickly you're able just to say, go stand in that position, go stand in that position, go snipe from there and there. And that setting your guys up in the sniper position is like instant win versus all this time you have to set up this battlefield and set these traps, and it feels so like it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, I get that feeling a lot from a lot of the objectives. Like they... God, I love this game so much for memory, but then I started hitting these missions, and God,
I think what we're dealing with is that we're not nostalgic for the game. Is that when we played the game when it first came out, we really did enjoy it, but the game hasn't aged well at all.
No,
nope.
It reminds me of the first time I played Armorines for the N64 and how awesome that game was.
I remember that game. That game was
Not to mention,
awesome.
it's just not a good game.
But yeah, I go back and play Armorines now. It's awful. Oh my God, it's bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever play it again then because I have very fond memories.
You know what? Jet Force Gemini is the same way. I went back and played Jet Force Gemini, and I was like, I remember I beat that game. I got all the tribals. I was really into that game because there was no game like it at the time. And I tried to play it now, and I just couldn't stomach it. It was weird.
There were a few moments in this game that started to stack up on me a little bit. And some of it was a lack of faithfulness to the Star Wars universe, just a little bit.
How so?
Okay, I have my first big point is I was severely irked by the entire last segment of the Acclimator mission, where you have to activate the turbo lasers to destroy the CS droid battleship.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a normal day, an Acclimator with all his weapons on would maybe be on par with one of these droid battleships, but for this to be like a mostly destroyed Acclimator, turning on the lasers at this point seems kind of like, what are you doing?
Hey, if a 12-year-old kid can fly an Adam Starfighter and take one of these fuckers out, it's easy to believe that an Acclimator that reroutes all its power to the turbo lasers could help finish off one of these.
And this is kind of
and the thing wasn't completely torn apart. It was just being torn apart in other places, but the turbo lasers were still there.
Yeah, but what's the point? You're going to shoot back. You're not slowing them down at all. You're just shooting them back. And this is a little bit of a nerd thing. Turbo lasers aren't anti-capital ship weapons. Turbo lasers are anti-fighter and all this stuff, shit like that.
Oh, okay. No. There's different types of turbo lasers.
Yeah, but the ones that we were firing, it wasn't that.
Yeah,
I think it's contrived.
They're interchangeable. You play Rogue Squadron, you play any other game, they interchange the turbo laser moniker with anything that's larger than a hand, than a handheld weapon.
I still don't like it. You still don't see that in the movies. Like they have like giant lasers, ion cannons, that kind of thing. But and then this game is like, okay, turn on the turbo lasers and we're gonna BK. I'm like, they're destroying you. There's another ship coming to help you. Let that one do it. You adding a little bit isn't gonna.
The thing is that you said earlier that one of these could be on par, but we watched the Acclimator say that we can't take this thing out alone, and that they need to hurry up because they're taking.
Yeah, and they did get help, and that kind of makes it better. But at the same time, it really bothered me the whole time. It's like,
why did it bother you specifically?
Because I felt like it was dumb.
How is it dumb?
I felt it was a futile effort. It was like there are probably a dozen other better things you could be spending your time doing than turning on lasers that aren't going to do anything if you have another battleship coming.
They could have maybe set the ship to ram the other ship or something.
Well, they had to protect the ship.
No, they said that the engines were down.
Score
said, so why don't we turn on the engine, just run the hell out of here? And they said, engines offline. He goes, oh, typical.
So go fix the shield generator. Go do anything else. But shooting at the other ship isn't going to buy you any time.
They couldn't get they couldn't get there in time. The ship was already infested with robots. they had to get to turbo lasers and turn off the droid control center, or Delta Squad would die.
But do we even know that we're the ones who turned off the droid control center? Because that just kind of happened.
That happened because they destroyed the ship.
No, the other one was destroying the ship. The other acclimator.
They were both firing at the damn ship, and they did enough damage to it that they shut down the droid control center. And then you got to watch the ship explode because there was no one shooting at you.
I don't know. It still bothered me.
But
that wasn't the thing that tipped me over the edge.
I don't understand how that bothered you when
it did bother me.
How?
It just bothered me throughout the whole thing. It felt weird, felt wrong. Like this whole time we were trying to do this one mission, and suddenly, then most of this game does this. It's like we're trying to do this one thing, and now we're doing something completely different. Like
that's because that one thing didn't work out. It's like, okay, repel the invaders. Okay, well you repel both of them, but they're still coming at us, and the battleship is coming to destroy the ship anyway. So you have any chance to survive, we need to get to the turbo lasers and try to take the thing out while the other acclimator comes and supports us. Because the whole point is that they didn't know when the mission started. They didn't know the battleship was going to come in and take over the situation.
They had to get their DPS up.
Yeah,
they needed more dots.
That wasn't the thing that genuinely irked me. That was just the first thing. The thing that genuinely irked me is in the Kashyyyk mission when you physically see General Grievous and then you physically fight off his bodyguards, and then 2 minutes later you send confirmation to command that the droids are actually here. You can verify all this stuff, and then you encounter a battle droid, and 38 goes, "Battle droids, what are they doing here?" And that's when I fucking lost it. That's when I said, fuck this game.
No, dude, okay, so just because General Grievous there doesn't mean he's bringing his droids.
Yes, it does. He's a goddamn general.
I know.
Yeah, if Grievous is there, there's going to be droids. It was
every mission so far. Of course, there's going to be droids here. There's Transoceans here. We just saw that they were in league with the droids. Of course, there's going to be fucking droids here.
Yeah,
and that was
they're not stupid.
It wasn't even like Fixer or something who was saying it and being a dork. It was 38 who said it.
38. Oh, I'm mixing up when Seb came out of nowhere. And Seb was like, "Bugs, what are they doing here?" Because he did the same thing when the bugs were there towards the end of the mission.
It drove me crazy. It also drove me crazy that you didn't get to fight any Minox. I was kind of looking forward to that, and then I was
like a scavenger droid. Minox.
Yeah, there's a scavenger droids instead. I'm like, but where are the? Could you not? You animate the Minox.
Dude, Minox aren't even that big of a deal. They're like a throwaway, scary jolt in Empire Strikes Back. They're not. I mean, like you're a Republic Commando with a personal shield generator and a Bacta regulator. Your Minox isn't going to be something that
it set the scavenger droids up for failure because I expected Minox and I got dumb scavenger droids. In fact, when that first scavenger droid attacked the commando, or not the commando, the trooper, I was like, oh my god, that Minox eating him. That's not a Minox. That's a robot.
Dude, that's your own fault for being dumb about Minox.
No, it was, but.
No, the Minox are nothing to be afraid of, period. All they do is eat.
I didn't say they were. I just said I wanted to fight someone. It's just like shooting womp rats back home.
That's like saying you want a womp rat to be like a final boss in this game.
That's not
like
they're
just
okay. Look, they mentioned the Minox. They set up the Minox. They mentioned like 4 or 5 times, and then there were no Minox. It's a minor point. It's a minor point. I get that. But it bothered me. I'm like, I want to kill some Minox. I was promised you have a fully rendered animated Minox over here at this one point. Why can't I shoot it? It's behind glass. It's like
you do this all the time.
You clearly did this. You clearly put the work into the Minox. Why not let me kill some of them?
You do this all the time. You they didn't put any work on the Minox. They had just one group of flyaway Minox.
So give us
Minox for the sake of Star Wars fans. Like, oh, remember Minox? Hint, nudge, nudge. Say no more, and then just kind of walk off.
No,
but then like you build it up to be like your personal like.
No,
oh my god, it didn't have any Minox.
It was a gun. It was a gun on the mantelpiece situation where they mentioned it like several times building up. I just feel like it was poor choice because they did mention it several times building up as if that was like gonna be a thing. I can't believe I'm arguing Minox, but they did do this, and it was disappointing when it didn't happen.
They mentioned it the first 30 seconds of the fucking level, and then that was it. Okay,
no. Multiple characters mentioned it.
Yeah, no, they mentioned
okay, when multiple characters that was promise. That was promise.
That was not promise. It was just a reference. It's not promise. It's reference. This game was a million things going on in it, and the last thing that the designers are worried about is adding Minox as a fightable person.
But they went to all the trouble. They went to all the trouble.
They modeled it.
But you know what?
They could have given it some
skinned it. They put a skeleton on it.
They could have copy pasted it like 12 times and just threw them at me in one hallway. I would have been happy.
You know what, James, why don't you just reload the level and shoot down the Minox like I did when they come out of the fucking tube?
I didn't see that happen.
Oh, well, then you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They show the Minox leaving the tube. Whenever you open up the gate, when you enter that little room and you hack the thing, you leave the damn turn, you go back into the engine where they open up, and they're the fucking Minox, and they're flying out, and you can shoot at them.
All right, moot point then. Moving on.
Oh,
the droid thing, the battle droid thing was a legitimate point. That was my actual real point. Was why are there battle droids here?
They need confirmation, guys. The command needs confirmation.
What?
No.
What?
Yeah.
Stop it. Just stop. There's no way you can get around this. It was a stupid line, and it's almost like what was that line?
Command needs confirmation. Are you serious?
All they knew that were there were Trandoshans.
Right? No.
Yeah.
General Grievous and his personal bodyguards were there.
Listen, for the first half of that level, we were fighting nothing but Trandoshans.
Which had already been verified to be on the side of CIS and getting weapons from CIS and buying battle droids from CIS.
At that point, even on the splash screen, they said it was inferred because it seemed like there were more mercenaries. It wasn't until General Grievous landed and I got confirmation that it was Grievous. And then when the battle droids came and fought on Kashyyyk with the Trandoshans, that's when they got final confirmation. That
okay. It's like
you guys not even paying attention to the story.
It's World War II. You see Hitler. You go around the corner. You see a bunch of Nazis. What are these damn Nazis doing here? Holy shit!
That's exactly.
It's exactly what happened.
Okay.
Good God, that is a good.
No, because General Grievous wasn't Hitler. General, because
God.
No,
I'm going to reach through this microphone and strangle you.
Grievous was Hitler.
He's trying to defend. He does this all the time. When he likes something so much, he defends it to the mundanest things.
Listen, what you're saying is right, but your analogy is wrong.
No.
See, now he's trying to go after the analogy. Why would you even do that? Don't waste time like that.
Shut up. Okay. So Adolf Hitler.
Anyways, so what was next on the agenda, James?
Similar.
You guys just mute him. Just mute him for a little bit.
No. Listen, guys. No, he's not Hitler.
Just mute him for a little bit.
No, he's not Hitler. Hitler is Darth Sidious.
Anyways, so
shut up, Harry.
I'm right.
No, it was an analogy, not a metaphor.
Metaphor.
The Grievous is Himmler. All right, the metaphor's fixed. There you go.
Thank you. He's not Hitler.
You're an idiot.
I'm not an idiot. Y'all are idiots.
I want to edit this conversation, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think this is just too good.
Hey, it's whatever.
This is me on Muscle Relax and saying you're an idiot. I have no idea what the conversation's going on right now.
I'm like, I was going to let everything slide until you brought World War II history into it, and then you hit my niche hard.
You were not going to let it slide.
No. Me and my dad, we sit down and we fucking watch World War II history for hours on end. It's one of the few things we bond over, and you can't sit there and give me a shit analogy about Hitler. No, it's not going to allow.
Stroking his EP right now.
Anyway, sniper positions are overpowered.
Yeah, I would say that. I was closely followed behind by grenader positions.
I like that feeling.
I don't know. I stopped using the positions at some point.
That's not a good idea.
That was a mistake.
That is not a good idea. Yeah, even though I was trying to just grin and bear this stupid game all the way to the end, I realized the importance of putting them into positions just to get through it faster.
Oh, like if there was like a turret or something, I put them on that.
It's like, Lee, I remember you specifically talking good things about this game all the time. And now all of a sudden you're like, this is the worst thing ever.
It really was a bad game. I didn't have any fun. The only thing that kept me going was this podcast to finish it all the way through. Like, if the podcast wasn't any shape or form in existence, I would never have. I would have stopped right after Genosian. There was no hook to keep me playing on to the next part. Like, oh man, I did this, and now there's this happening. I can't wait to see what this resolves. Never had that feeling. Never, ever felt like I wanted to continue on to the next part.
I know that feeling. And you know what? And to your credit, Lee, I didn't finish the game the first time because I was so dejected. I stopped on the sheet because I was like, I can't listen to this.
Real talk, I didn't finish the game this time. I got to right after you released the Wookiee Chieftain, and I'm like, you know what? This game just crossed the line.
Okay, well, this is the second.
Here we go.
This is like the second game that you haven't finished.
I didn't need to. No. Okay, Mass Effect was a different situation. This one, I verified first that there was nothing good after what I did, so I made sure. I kept playing, but
I can confirm that on easy mode, you can literally breeze through it without dying. You can go up to super battle droids and punch them over and over again. And they won't even take down your shields.
I did that. I can verify that that's a thing. You can one shot.
I think the Kashyyyk missions were too long too. Like it was. I definitely got fatigued on those last missions.
Now I do want to hear the gripes from Stu specifically.
Stu, yes.
What?
I do agree with you on some of those points that I just found out.
It's a playable game. I'll give it that. If it's on deep sale and you've never played it, it's kind of worth it just to know what people are talking about.
I still want my $5 back.
You mean just to play the first hour? 'Cause I think that where we were in part 1, beating the Genosian mission, I don't think the game offers anything beyond that except for the cliffhanger ending, which I don't know is worth getting to. You can just look it up and be surprised. But I think the Genosian mission offers all the good content that the game has, and from there is still interesting, but it's really more of the same.
Yeah, it's like copy-pasted with different, atmospheres.
Yeah, the Genosian mission was probably the most fun. It was probably the best mission out of them all.
Because it's high speed, and you're like, as you're doing it, that the Jedi are over in the temple fighting, and the movie's going on, and then you're over here doing this stuff.
Yeah,
this happened the same time as the movie. It's like over here they're filming the movie, but you're infiltrating the ship.
I just imagine there's a goddamn camera crew out there that you can kind of see as you're walking by. they're like on a skiff.
And then I look at them and they're like, "No, we're still doing.
Go, do your mission. We need you for later. Maybe. No, we don't." I get that because on the Acclimator and on Kashyyyk, I didn't feel that at all. I felt like, okay, I'm doing a thing.
It was definitely a tie-in rather than something that really would have helped the game. Because I don't think a lot of people personally care about Wookiees that much to want to play a level
I didn't like how the Wookiees looked in this game either.
Oh, I actually wrote that down as one of my notes. I said, first time Wookiee appeared, I said, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, what the hell is this?
It showed up around the corner and it walked off. I'm like, my god!
It was like Sasquatch.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was a limitation of the engine, but come on, stupid. Different. I mean, that was completely redesigned.
For over 10 years ago about the polygons, they couldn't render fur. But I do agree. I'm not gonna lie. If you took a Wampa from Shadows of the Empire and you put him next to one of these Wookiees in this game, there's little difference in the way they look and how ridiculously their proportions are.
The proportions are what did it. Yeah,
the proportions are so long.
I actually want a mod now where it replaces the Wookiees with Wampas from Shadows of the Empire. And they make that Wampa noise.
So let's talk about the more challenging aspect of this game. I'm really glad that we did go ahead and talk about gripes first, because now I want to talk about what did you enjoy from this game?
I think the only thing I can say for sure is that I just like Seb's voice, and that's the only thing I like.
So the characters.
Just no,
Like-
Just Seb.
no, not even a character. Just the guy who voices the character.
Something they've got away from, making it to where you can see your helmet. I love that in first-person shooters. That is like that makes me want to play the game. Being able to see your helmet and steam on your helmet and blood splashing on your visor.
Really?
Yeah, I really like that.
I kind of like. I like it if it's done right. I don't like it if it's done poorly. And there's plenty.
The only two games I know of are Metroid and Star Wars Republic Commando. I'm sure there's more.
There are. I'm trying to think what they are.
Okay, well, I really enjoy the banter of the characters. Scorch was my favorite. He was like the Michelangelo of the group. I also enjoy the different positions that you can tell your guys to. Like, I love being able to order them to go to certain positions.
I want to tag on to that real quick because I loved how fast they responded to that and how quick that response time was.
Yeah, the AI was actually
Really good.
Okay.
It's really
Yeah,
good.
even now, it's still good.
And I think it's because, like, I think I said this in the previous cast. I want to say it again for this one. It's because they didn't just wait around for orders, and they weren't just on default shooting when they weren't doing something else. They were like, if you waited too long to tell them to do something, they'd just go do it themselves.
Pretty much.
Is you were guiding them, you weren't telling them exactly what to do.
They would never take a position, but they would go for cover a lot, and then they would shoot around the corner.
Yeah, like one time I went up to a door that it had the option to breach it or something, but I just walked up to it and just sat there, and then I took a drink. I turned around and they were like, it looked so tactical, like they were. It wasn't scripted, but it looked scripted the way they were set up in the hallway.
You know what? You know what I want to compare it to? I want to compare it to the AI from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
What AI?
Right. And Left 4 Dead is also all about the team. But if you think about it, like, how often have you seen Lewis come running up to you to revive your ass only to get eaten by a zombie?
What was the big guy's name?
Or they stop and they heal you in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, what was his name?
God.
Me, Lee, and Sarah would play Left 4 Dead, and we would purposely leave the big guy. What's his name?
Francis.
Yeah, we purposely leave Francis AI because we would just have like these really weird moments with the AI where we were basically like all of our anger was directed at this AI like this punching bag because this AI would do dumb shit to us. So like I'm sure everyone's had this happen before, but we're we're running away, and then Francis will start trying to heal us. We're like, don't stop it! No, it's like, let me heal you. Come over here, let me heal you. And it's like, Ariam, get over here, quick! And they're like, don't shut the door. I have to shut the door. It's like, let me heal you. No, stop. And then
Let me heal you.
Yeah. Or he'll be standing there, and then all of a sudden he'll be running off and hitting people.
This is a completely different game that's very completely off the subject. So,
Anyway.
Well, it's not that far off the subject because the point really is that in this game you don't see that though.
This game is an escort mission. They're escorting you.
It's a reverse escort mission. We established that already.
I don't want to talk about this force.
SEAL Team 6, you're nothing but a glorified escort mission.
Reverse escort mission. Put it on a t-shirt. Reverse escort mission.
We should make t-shirts that say that.
Yeah,
I'm nothing but a glorified reverse escort mission.
Yes. But your squad members will revive you or will revive each other if the situation warrants it. They have their directive to actually mention every now and then that once the room's clear, then we'll actually go to heal.
Yeah, I love how they would go up and each Sev or Fixer, they would go up and they would confirm their kill. So they'll go up there and Scorch what are you doing? He said, I'm confirming my kill. And he goes, but it's already dead. And then he shoots it. He'll shoot it a few more times and now it's extra dead.
I never saw that.
Yeah, me either.
It happens all the time with me. They would do all sorts of weird stuff all the time if you just pay attention.
I was paying attention to that stuff and I got very little banter.
Yeah, same here. They didn't do a whole lot for me.
What about you, Lee?
They were dead too much to banter.
This guy.
I'm bad. I just let them die and hang back. I just take care of things. All right. So I feel like we covered a lot of ground on this game. We talked about things. Oh, one thing that I liked, jumping right back into it. I realized I didn't take my turn. The cinematics that tried to set the mood for you, which were the ones at the beginning of each mission, except for the Kashyyyk mission, which was awful. But the acclimator, jumping into the acclimator from space, was really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
The scene at the beginning of the game and the tubes was really fucking cool. The intro into the Genosis battle was really fucking cool. Those were really cool moments that tried to set the mood for you. And also,
did you not think it was cool when you got to take over that walker in the hangar?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool at first, and then I did it, and I realized that they wanted me to shoot 2 things and get back out, and then I felt cheated. Go shoot that thing. Okay, now get out and go do the other thing. I'm like, that was kind of a tease.
Unsatisfying.
Yeah, because they brought the drone carrier in right away, the droid carrier. They brought the droid carrier in. I'm like, oh, so you want me to fight that with this little thing? No, we want you to get out and go do something else. Go turn on the turbo lasers. How about that? I'm like, okay.
There's no way a single walker could take on a droid.
That's what I was thinking, but it was like the only okay. So I shot. Okay, no. Hold on, no. There's a reason I thought this. There's a reason why this crossed my mind, and that was because I shot 2 things. They put all the trouble putting this in the game. I shot 2 things with it, and they wanted me to get back out. And then they introduced a drone carrier. I'm like, oh, that's what they wanted me to do with it, right? It doesn't really make sense. There's kind of a mismatch there, but okay, that's what they're saying. But then they weren't saying that at all. So you just go turn on the turbo lasers and like, oh, so I guess I just don't get to use it at all then. Because at least I would want to try to do like some Force Unleashed crap and take out a capital ship with a walker.
No, see, your John McClane expectations of what you can and can't do, I think, are ruining your experiences. I really think so.
I think the Force Unleashed is ruining it a lot for me.
Force Unleashed was pretty good.
Never played that game.
The first one was really good.
The first one was really good. Second one was really, really, really bad.
You know why I didn't play it? It's because it was like 32 gigabytes because they did not give a crap about the PC port.
Well, the PC port is actually really, really good.
No, it's like 32 or 50 gigabytes. I can't remember. It's completely just freaking unoptimized, gigantic.
It's better on Steam.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it's a long game. The first one is, and it has a lot of DLC, which are really fun.
The DLC for Force Unleashed was really good. That's another topic for another day. The DLC for Republic Commando was non-existent because it's predated DLC.
Yeah, they just, they released something called, and you may not remember these, but they were called expansion packs. And they actually went into stores, and they cost about, I don't know, a little over half the cost of the game, like $30. The game was $50. So the expansion pack was $30. And they actually gave you a lot of content in these. It looked like a different game, but it actually went to your original game. Yes, that's your history lesson for today.
I miss expansion packs.
Yeah.
I miss expansion packs being good.
And nowadays they just nickel and dime you. Nickel and dime you, nickel and dime you, nickel and dime you. Oh, you want to
They're getting away from that.
Or they give you content that was cut and then
I think the first DLC, what could be considered DLC I ever dealt with was the mech packs for the Mech Warrior 4 Mercenaries.
My first DLC was Mech Assault Mechs.
The first DLC that I can remember actually remembering and using was actually the Force Unleashed DLC.
Well, the thing is, Lee, I don't think mech packs are considered DLC because
they came in discs. Yes, I know, but if in this day and age they would be considered DLC because they would actually have. They would actually be online.
The first DLC I ever ran into was the Battlefield 2 expansion packs.
You had to.
The Armored Fury was DLC.
Those you have to download them to be called DLC.
You could not buy them.
They came out with Special Forces, which I bought in the store, and then they had these other cool ones, these awesome Armored Fury and the one James just mentioned. But you couldn't buy them unless you had a credit card and you went online, which I had 56K and I could not do.
They were downloadable only until the Game of the Year edition or whatever came out and had everything.
Yeah, they patched it for free, but it was way too late.
that would be considered DLC, but I don't think the mech packs would be considered DLC because they were still physical DLC you had to buy.
This is called being off topic.
Oh yes, what are we talking about? It's
It was a different video game. I think it was a Star Wars game.
Force Unleashed.
This is all going into the cast. It was not Force Unleashed. It was Republic Commando.
Oh.
Did you guys play the multiplayer, any? Because I did.
I played it a little bit, and it was, like I said in the last cast, it was kind of just an Unreal Tournament 2 all over again.
Yeah.
I played Unreal Tournament 2, and it felt nothing like this game.
I remember playing it online. It felt just like Unreal Tournament 2004. Only on the...
Right before Unreal got good.
I don't understand.
What? 2004 was awesome.
2004 was a huge levels with vehicles. This was Trandoshans versus...
No. 2004
Commandos.
had vehicles. It was called Onslaught mode, but then they had all the other modes too, and it was more like Deathmatch.
The music in this game, by the way, really good. Consistent.
Yeah.
Didn't we talk about that last time?
We did. I just wanted to add that the remainder of the game didn't change that. This is still very moody, very intense music.
Towards the
I
end
think
of
it's
the
the
game,
only game with its own licensed music. I think it's...
Yeah, I didn't.
It's not.
Well, back
to
to
music.
did you guys unlock the music video?
I did
What?
not.
How do you do that?
There's a music video you can unlock from a band called Ash, and it's the very first music video to ever use Star Wars video games in it, and it's in the game. You just go to your extras, and if you beat the game, it's in your extras. It's a fucking music video from Republic Commando.
Now, on the topic of Star Wars and music and licensing, I will say that what was it? Was it Galactic Battlegrounds that had the Rage Against the Machine?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
It's like dun 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 dun.
that one. That's my favorite by far. But yeah, that was really cool.
No. It wasn't Battlegrounds. It was Star Wars Force Commander,
Yeah, Force Commander. There it is.
which is a game we should do.
That game blows.
I
But
love
it was
that
awesome.
game. It sucked now, but I love it. You can individually name every single unit in that game, and then like they would level up, but like it would mean nothing. And so like you would like see this one ATST like with like 5 kills that you like named, and then it would die. And nothing like I could lose anybody in XCOM, and it won't feel as bad as that ATST that I had that I think just whatever reason. Okay, we should get off that.
It was kind of that age where like you had sentimental value attached to your unit in
Yes.
StarCraft. Like you'd line your Marines up in StarCraft in a little row and reprimand the ones who got out of line.
Yeah, it's kind of.
I think I remember Day 9 saying something about that.
Day 9 said that he's like the dude with like 12 kills. He would be like the general of them all. But then like whenever he was attacked, he would like kill the Marines that allowed the attack to happen because they weren't like on their post. Like, he would just have his own little fucking like stories because he back then he was a competitor. He was just playing the game.
Yeah, I remember I used to do the same thing with StarCraft when I was really little. No, this was the best way to play video games, like RTS games early on. Seriously, early RTS games, I think I spent most of my time just fucking around in sandbox mode, just building massive armies and then not doing anything with them. Warcraft 2 was my first RTS.
Command & Conquer was my first ever RTS. My first PC game, actually, that I personally own. But then somebody gave me Warcraft.
I think we should get back to the subject in just a moment because this is a fascinating topic of your life. But we should wrap up, I guess, the Republic Commando cast because I feel like we just don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, we've said all we wanted to say about it.
All right, final verdicts around the room.
Final summation.
In the order that you're sitting at this table that we're all sitting at, say your verdict.
All right, well,
Starting on my left. You're clearly across from me, Stu.
Fine.
Well, that would be Lee because I'm the right hand man.
This game blows like hardcore, in my opinion. And I want my $5 back, and I wish that Sev was remade into another game. Like
A game is called Sev.
Yeah, just like Sev, the guy, and all you do is just listen to him gripe and bitch. I'd pay $5 for that. Just like have him on my desktop like a bonsai buddy. He just says random shit every once in a while. Yeah, this game's pretty bad in my opinion. I did not have fun with this game at all.
It has nostalgic value if you've played it before.
I did play it before, and it sucked then and it sucked now.
It didn't suck in. I know.
It
It
sucked
didn't
in.
suck in for you. I know.
Hold on, we're going around the room. You get your piece in just a moment.
It sucked in because I don't remember ever telling you about that game.
You talk about it all the time.
I'm pretty sure you're thinking about something else, and it might have been It might have been that X-wing TIE Fighter simulator game that had all the pods and stuff that I went to. That you might have misconfused that for.
Misconfused, which means you got it right.
I am on muscle relaxants right now. So.
Final verdict. If I was to rate it out of 100, I'd give it a solid 70.
We don't do ratings here, asshole.
But
spaghetti out of pans.
Spaghetti
out of pans. Out of 5.
Don't you watch the show, Stu?
Well, I'm Stu though. I do my own thing.
I was half expecting Aaron to go in and pretty good at that, Dan.
Dan.
Okay, well, it's worth a play. Just play through it. Just suffer through it, and okay, that didn't sound very good.
Look, he says that's his first thought. He agrees. It's a bad game.
All right. Arium, final verdict.
Okay, definitely give this game a try. It is definitely worth $5. It's probably not worth the $20 when it's not on sale because it hasn't aged very well at all. And I would have to say that if you stop playing the game, just try to come back to it later. Don't try to do it all in one sitting because it does grind at you. It does get on your nerves a bit, especially when the game throws some bullshit at you. But all in all, from I would have to say, from a scale of new recruit to Hitler, I'd give this a Desert Fox.
Okay. It works. You have to know Metal Gear Solid really well to get that reference.
You know the story about that, hopefully.
If you're interested in first-person shooter Star Wars games, there are better ones. However, this one was very different. It was kind of unique in how it presented the Star Wars universe because we had a lot of extended universe stuff going on before this, like Dark Forces and things like that, which are good in their own right, but this was the game that you wanted to play just to be the grunt. And if you're going into it expecting that and looking just to have this kind of side story, something a little more visceral, it's good for that. But I would still say that the game's only really worth it up until the end of the Battle of Geonosis, so the first third of the game or so, and that's when you kind of get the idea. If you like it from there, carry on. But I would say if you're interested in first-person shooter Star Wars games, or if you're interested in just the furthering information on just Imperial troopers or whatever, if you're just into that kind of thing, then it's worth a shot. It's worth the $5, not worth the $20. And the full game's probably not worth it unless you have some time on your hands and you just want to have this kind of whole retro experience. But that's just my opinion.
I forgot that. Yeah, it's the only game I can think of in the Star Wars universe where I don't think you see a Jedi.
Yeah,
I have a screenshot of a guy burned up in an event, and there's a lightsaber next to him, and the leader makes up some side comment, a more elegant weapon for uncivilized time or something like that. He says,
"Oh, that's an Easter egg." I remember.
Yeah.
Yoda's also in the game.
Yeah, Yoda's.
So
that's why times have changed.
And the Yoda is sitting there, and he goes, "Love can bloom on the battlefield."
No,
that was a Metal Gear joke. You think love can bloom on the battlefield? And Otacon's like, what?
Metal Gear.
All right. So we got our final verdicts out.
This is
the part where we transition away. If you have more comments about Republic Commando or you want to be heard, you can still email us, like, comment, subscribe, comment on YouTube, or email us at player9show@gmail.com. Did I say email.com?
Gmail.
Oh, I said Gmail. Good. At email.com.
Does email.com still exist? I'm pretty sure it does.
Or squad9.tv@gmail.com. Either one. We check them all.
Information control.
And we'll read your comments and stuff on the show. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, I would be reading comments, but I forgot to pull them up, so I'll get to that in just a moment. But we are going to move into tangents and the second part of the show where we talk about Kickstarters, endorsements, and that kind of thing. Some of the new projects or games that we're looking forward to or supporting. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ariam.
Battlefield
Martin. With that, I'll turn it over to Martin.
Ariam, don't give people out my secret name. Okay, well, I have a game. It's called, this is a Kickstarter project called Soul Saga. It ended its run a while ago successfully, and it was a run-on success. It had a $60,000 goal, and what the game is, it's a throwback to old RPGs from the Super Nintendo era, Final Fantasy specifically, and people wanted that back so bad that it blew past its original goal and made around $200,000. And so it's going to be a small little old school RPG. It looks great, and because it smashed all the other goals, it's not only going to be on PC, but it's going to be on the Vita, the Wii U, and the PS4 on its as well as PC, Mac, and Linux. So it looks really fun to me.
Okay, Stu, do you have any Kickstarters?
I do not.
Well, do you even watch this goddamn show?
I don't.
Have you never seen an episode of the show where we do Kickstarters at the end of every episode?
Yeah, but I've only ever seen screenshots. I don't really.
You've only seen screenshots of our podcast.
No, I've only seen screenshots of Kickstarter, the website. It's like I stay away from it, like I stay away from Reddit and Twitter. It's just someplace I don't go.
You are an enigma. You have an amazing computer. You have amazing computer skills. You play games, but you don't go out of the way to do anything about bettering the life of video games. Like
okay.
You go out and you fix your motorcycle and you make your motorcycle better for yourself. You go out and you make desks.
Okay, we're done with this because I got to move on. And there's always something that didn't have
guys,
it was weird.
Some leaked footage just came out from the makers of LA Noire.
Yeah, I was trying to see that, but they keep taking it down.
Horror of the Orient.
LA Noire. Oh yeah. Okay.
So I actually have a few Kickstarters. Both of mine are from the Queen's country, the UK.
What?
Yeah. One of them is from a team called The Game Creators, and it's the App Game Kit version 2. And what that is it's an easy-to-use cross-platform game development engine that supports Ouya, iOS, Android, Mac, Windows, and BlackBerry. So it supports all those devices natively. And it's basically full game development software for small apps, and they help with the publishing and everything else.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
It must be pretty powerful to have BlackBerry stuff.
Yeah, they have
hard to program on, I imagine.
They do most of the end work. It's actually a fairly cost-effective program, but they do a lot of the coding, the animation. They have and internal animation software. They also use Spine, which was another Kickstarter project. And Spine is animating. We talked about that on a previous Kickstarter or previous episode. It was kind of like Spriter.
Yeah, didn't they talk to you like after you let them know about it?
The Spriter did.
Yeah.
Spriter did.
But this one, they help a lot with the publishing and the coding and basically the background of the game itself, so you can focus on the development and you can just get content out there without worrying as much. And it looks like it has a lot of supporters. They're well beyond their funded goal. They're at like 2,000% of their goal or more. That's a lot more than 2,000. Shit. Okay, so their goal was £5,000, and they're at 30,000. So they still have 6 days to go. So final week, and that's the app game kit on Kickstarter from the Game Creators. Now the other one I wanted to look at was an app. It was a Kickstarter that just came out. I don't know how much traction it's going to get, but it's got 58 backers right now. And it's called Super Techno Ninja, and it's from a single developer who's trying to emulate older 2D platformers, things like Strider and Castlevania, and try to merge them with more modern games like Dishonored or Mark of the Ninja that has a lot of choices and has a lot of fast-paced action. So it wants to make a 2D platformer that's very modern.
I'm looking at it now. It looks a bit like Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
Not Ninja Gaiden, but Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3, which I really miss gameplay-wise.
But it looks like he's done a lot of the work on it. According to his Kickstarter, he's got plenty of experience with the programming and everything, so he just needs the money to go through with it. And I would like to see where it goes. I like the concept, especially because it's supposed to be a very open-ended sort of game. So that's one I definitely would suggest checking out and looking at and seeing how far it goes. It's a 5,000-pound goal. They're at not quite there yet, but they just posted it a few days ago. So, yeah, check it out.
War Machine Tactics is on its last week of funding. And even though it's met its goal, there's still quite a few stretch goals that I would really like to see achieved. Right now, it's on the cusp of unlocking a few special warjacks, warjacks that are like more heavy, awesome. But a little down the road is a replay feature that I actually wish they would add before they add.
Hey, I actually want the replay feature pretty badly too. Did they already add armor coloring and army paint?
Oh yeah, that stuff is already way past cool.
All right, yeah, that's what I'm most.
Then again,
did you say way past cool?
Yeah.
There's tactics.
Oh,
there's a Kickstarter that I'm actually really interested in, and it looks really fun. It just hit its funding. So 18 days left to go, but it's called Chroma Squad. It's basically it's a satire. It's a satire of Super Sentai TV shows, and basically what you do is you have a studio. You own a Sentai studio, and you have to earn viewership by kind of managing the Sentai studio. But the way you get views and the way you get your ratings up is you have a tactics battle with your Sentai Rangers against enemies in the show. So it's a very serious tactics game layered on top of a very satirical setting, and it's called Chroma Squad.
Okay.
And it's a spiritual sequel to another game that the studio did, where you play as a group of people going through another person's DM, where another person's DMing a D&D game, and it's basically the same setting where you have to set up the monsters. It's really cool. You should check it out. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you watch the trailer and once you see what the game's about, you can see how fun and silly it is.
Awesome. So like I said, we're going to read some of the comments that you guys have sent in to us over the past few weeks. And we'll just move on with that. So Peter Joseph has said from I'm going to guess. It's Peter Joseph from Iowa has said, love to listen to this and the Mario Galaxy one. Thank you guys and keep up the good work. Tyler Reynolds of Illinois says, I really like the visual improvements from the first one.
What?
Don't read that one. Everyone knows that one's dumb.
Lutzberg says, you guys have great chemistry and synergy as a group. It felt natural and you were all entertaining and you clearly have game design knowledge. Hey. Somebody replied to me on a Game Grumps video. Agreed.
This is some thinly veiled thing.
Okay, the first two are real. First one was real.
First one was real. Well, don't be disingenuous, you bastard.
All right, so that's all we have today. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Every little bit definitely helps us out and lets us know that you're out there listening to us, because we know that you are. Or if you're listening to this in the future, these Kickstarters are mostly already funded or done. So go support the developers anyway. That's why we do this. We're not just doing this for, just to get those projects funded, but instead to make sure that we're getting awareness out of these projects. So go check them out, even if they're done, because they're still cool. All right, so this is Player 9 signing out.
It's Gin Factory. Yay.
Next week's game, oh my god. So next week's cast is going to be on The Witcher. And what we're going to do is we're going to play up to the end of Chapter 2, right?
No. It doesn't get fun until the end of Chapter 2.
No, I know, but we need a starting point.
All right, play up to the end of Chapter 2. And send in your comments, whatever you want us to talk about on the show, and we'll definitely take your feedback and discuss that as well. So this is going to be the end of the cast for today. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And this is Player 9 signing out.
This is Jen. What's my name again?
Jen Factor.
Yeah. Jen. I'm so tired. Okay, restart.
Yeah, Jen Fag sounds
and This is Jim Factor signing out.
This is the Stew signing out.
Yes.
This is Lee Zarmir signing out.
The epic news.
This is Player 9 signing out again.
Zarmir.
Good night, kids.
Out!